Surah Yā-Sīn is often called the heart of the Qur'an because it speaks directly to the human heart. It reminds us who we are, where we came from, why we are here, and where we are going. When the heart is alive, the whole body responds. When the heart is sick, everything else suffers. In the same way, when a person understands the message of Yā-Sīn, their faith becomes alive, their worries begin to settle, and their direction becomes clearer. Allah begins this surah with powerful letters and then swears by the wise Qur'an, affirming that the messenger is truly among those sent on a straight path. This opening is a reminder that guidance is not confusion. Islam is clarity. Allah did not leave humanity wandering without direction. He sent revelation as mercy. Many people feel lost today, chasing success, wealth, or recognition, yet their hearts remain restless. Yā-Sīn brings us back to the purpose, to worship Allah, live righteously, and prepare for the meeting with Him. The surah speaks about people whose hearts became hardened. They refused to listen even when truth stood clearly before them. Allah describes barriers before them and behind them, showing how stubbornness blinds a person. This teaches us a powerful lesson. Guidance is not about intelligence alone, but humility. A simple heart that accepts truth is closer to Allah than a proud mind that rejects it. Then comes the story of the messengers sent to a town. The people rejected them, mocked them, and threatened them. Yet the messengers continued with patience, saying their duty was only to convey the message clearly. Every believer today learns from this. When you try to do good, speak truth, or live according to faith, you may face rejection or mockery. But your responsibility is effort, not results. Guidance belongs to Allah. A beautiful moment in the surah is the arrival of a man who came running from the farthest part of the city. He defended the messengers and called his people to worship Allah alone. He spoke sincerely without seeking reward. His words reflect pure faith. Why should I not worship the one who created me and to whom we will all return? This man was killed for his belief, yet Allah honored him immediately. He was told to enter paradise, and his only regret was that his people did not know how merciful Allah had been to him. This teaches us that true success is not measured by worldly victory, but by acceptance with Allah. Even if people harm you for doing good, Allah's reward is greater than anything they can take away. Surah Yā-Sīn then directs our attention to the signs around us. Dead land becomes alive when rain falls. Gardens grow, fruits appear, and provisions are created for humanity. Day and night follow precise order. The sun and moon move in calculated paths. Ships sail across the sea carrying people safely. All these signs point to one truth. This universe is not random. Everything moves by Allah's command. When life feels chaotic, remembering this order brings peace. The one who controls the stars also controls our situations. Allah also reminds us how people forget their own creation. A person questions resurrection, forgetting he himself was once nothing. The one who created us from nothing can recreate us after death. For Allah, bringing life back is effortless. Death is not the end, it is a transition. Knowing this changes how we live. Our actions matter, our words matter, our intentions matter. Every hardship becomes easier when we remember accountability and eternal reward. Another deep message of Yā-Sīn is gratitude. Allah provides food, shelter, transportation, and countless blessings. Yet many people remain ungrateful. Gratitude softens the heart and increases blessings. Complaining hardens the heart and blinds us to what we already have. When we thank Allah sincerely, even small things become sources of happiness. The surah also paints a vivid picture of the day of judgment. The trumpet will be blown and people will rise from their graves. On that day, no injustice will occur. No soul will be wronged even slightly. People will see the results of what they used to do. The believers will be in peace and joy, while those who deny truth will face regret. This reminder is not meant to frighten, but to awaken. Life is short. Opportunities to do good are limited. Every day is a chance to return to Allah before it is too late. One of the reasons Yā-Sīn is called the heart of the Qur'an is that it summarizes the essential message: belief in Allah, acceptance of His messengers, recognition of His signs, certainty of resurrection, and accountability of deeds. It speaks to emotion, intellect, and conscience together. Many people recite it in times of difficulty because its verses bring comfort and hope. It reminds the sick of mercy, the grieving of reunion in the hereafter, and the lost of guidance still available. The Prophet encouraged recitation of Yā-Sīn, and a narration often quoted regarding its virtue states, "Everything has a heart, and the heart of the Qur'an is Yā-Sīn. Whoever recites Yā-Sīn, Allah will record for him the reward of reciting the Qur'an 10 times. This narration is reported in Sunan al-Tirmidhi and other collections. Scholars have discussed its chain and many classify it as weak. Yet the surah remains beloved among Muslims due to its powerful meanings and reminders. When a believer reflects upon Yā-Sīn, life begins to make sense again. Hardships are seen as temporary tests. Blessings are recognized as gifts. Death is understood as a meeting, not an end. The heart finds balance between fear and hope, effort and trust, patience and gratitude. The surah gently pulls the believer away from distraction and brings them back to purpose, reminding every soul that the Creator who gave life also guides, forgives, provides, and welcomes His servants whenever they return sincerely to Him, no matter how far they may have drifted or how heavy their mistakes may feel. For His mercy remains greater than every sin, and His door remains open for every heart seeking light. And when the heart begins to receive this light, a person starts seeing trials differently. What once felt like punishment is understood as purification. What once seemed like loss becomes protection. Many times we cry over doors that close, not realizing that Allah is saving us from paths that would have broken us. Yā-Sīn teaches us to trust the wisdom of the one who sees what we cannot see. The future that worries us is already known to Him, and the outcomes we fear are already under His control. The surah also awakens a deep sense of responsibility. It reminds humanity that every action is recorded. Even footsteps taken toward good or evil are written. Nothing disappears. Sometimes people think their small efforts do not matter, or their hidden sins go unnoticed. Yet Allah tells us everything is counted. This should not make us despair, but motivate us. A smile, a kind word, a hidden charity, a prayer made for someone in secret, all of it is preserved. Even the tears shed in repentance are honored. Nothing done sincerely for Allah is wasted. There is also comfort in knowing that Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. When we face hardship, it means we have the strength within us to endure it, even if we do not realize it yet. Yā-Sīn reminds us that life is not meant to be free from struggle. Rather, struggle is part of the journey that brings us closer to our Creator. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and strong believers are shaped through tests. When you feel overwhelmed, remember that Allah chose you for this test because He knows your potential better than you know yourself. The surah also challenges those who become arrogant due to wealth or power. Many nations before us were stronger and more advanced, yet they vanished when they rejected truth and oppressed others. History repeats itself when people forget humility. Today, technology has advanced. Cities have grown and comfort has increased, yet inner peace remains rare. This shows that material success alone cannot satisfy the soul. Only connection with Allah fills the emptiness within. Another beautiful aspect of Yā-Sīn is how it gently calls people back without harshness. Allah repeatedly invites reflection. Look at the earth, look at the sky, look at yourselves. Faith is not blind, it is supported by signs everywhere. The alternation of night and day gives us rest and opportunity. Sleep itself is a mercy, a temporary form of death from which we awaken each morning. Every new day is a chance to correct mistakes and draw closer to Allah. The surah makes us appreciate simple blessings we often overlook. When people feel distant from Allah, they sometimes think their sins are too great to be forgiven. But Yā-Sīn reminds us of divine mercy. The same Lord who revives dead land can revive dead hearts. No matter how far someone has gone, returning sincerely wipes away past errors. One moment of true repentance can change a lifetime of wrongdoing. Allah's mercy is not limited. It is our willingness to turn back that is limited. The surah also shows the contrast between people who listen and those who refuse guidance. Some hearts soften at a reminder, while others grow harder. This teaches us to constantly ask Allah for guidance and humility. Faith is not something we achieve once and keep forever without effort. It requires continuous nurturing through prayer, remembrance, charity, and good character. Just as the body needs food daily, The soul needs spiritual nourishment regularly. Many people struggle with anxiety about the future. They fear loss, illness, failure, or loneliness. Yā-Sīn reassures believers that life and death are in Allah's hands. Nothing happens without His permission. Even what appears harmful may carry hidden benefit. Trust in Allah does not mean sitting idle. It means striving while knowing outcomes are decided by divine wisdom. When effort is combined with trust, worry begins to fade and peace settles in the heart. Another powerful lesson from the surah is accountability in speech. On the day of judgment, mouths may be sealed and limbs will testify about what we used to do. This reminds us to be careful with words and actions. In a time where speech spreads quickly through technology, careless words can hurt thousands. Islam teaches responsibility not only for physical actions, but also for what we say and share. Words can heal or harm, guide or mislead. Yā-Sīn also encourages compassion toward others. The believer who came running to support the messengers cared deeply for his people despite their rejection. True faith creates concern for others' guidance and well-being. It softens hearts toward family, neighbors, and even strangers. When faith grows, selfishness decreases. A believer begins to ask not only, how can I succeed, but also, how can I help others succeed? The surah also brings hope for those grieving loved ones. Death feels like separation, yet the Qur'an reminds us that believers will reunite in paradise. The pain of loss becomes easier when we remember that this world is temporary. Loved ones who die upon faith are not gone forever, they have simply traveled ahead. This perspective brings patience and comfort during times of sorrow. Reflection on Yā-Sīn also helps us manage anger and frustration. Many conflicts arise from ego and impatience. When we remember accountability and divine justice, we become less reactive. Forgiving others becomes easier when we hope for Allah's forgiveness. Patience becomes possible when we know reward awaits those who endure with dignity. Another lesson emerges from the repeated reminders about gratitude. Gratitude transforms perspective. Instead of focusing on what is missing, the believer sees what is present. Health, family, safety, food, and guidance are priceless blessings. Gratitude brings contentment, and contentment brings happiness. The surah invites us to look around and recognize Allah's generosity in every aspect of life. The message of Yā-Sīn also encourages resilience. Believers throughout history faced rejection and hardship, yet they remained firm. Today's challenges may look different, but the solution remains the same. Patience, prayer, and trust in Allah. When storms come, strong trees bend, but do not break. Faith provides flexibility and strength during life's storms. As hearts connect with these meanings, priorities begin to change. Temporary desires lose their grip, and eternal goals become clearer. Acts of kindness increase. Prayer becomes more meaningful. Charity becomes easier. Forgiveness becomes natural. The believer realizes that success is not measured by wealth or status, but by closeness to Allah and goodness toward people. And as each verse continues to echo in the heart, reminding humanity of origin, purpose, mercy, accountability, and return, the soul finds itself drawn again and again toward reflection, repentance, gratitude, and hope. Understanding that every breath is an opportunity granted by Allah to move closer to Him, to repair relationships, to purify intentions, to spread goodness, and to walk the path illuminated by revelation, while the doors of mercy remain open, and the chance to transform one's life remains available in every passing moment. From this awareness grows a new kind of strength, the strength to forgive, to move forward, and to rebuild even after being broken. Many people carry wounds from betrayal, disappointment, or personal failure. They replay painful memories and feel trapped in what happened years ago. Yet the message flowing from the Qur'an and reflected in the spirit of Yā-Sīn teaches that Allah does not want His servants to remain prisoners of their past. He opens doors again and again. The believer learns that every sunrise is permission to begin anew. Sometimes a person feels unseen, believing their struggles are unnoticed. They try hard, yet results seem delayed. But Allah reminds us that He knows what is hidden within hearts. every silent prayer whispered at night, every tear shed in solitude, every act of patience when no one else understands, all of it is known to him. Recognition from people may be delayed or absent, but recognition from Allah is certain. When this truth settles in the heart, loneliness turns into companionship with the most merciful. Yā-Sīn also encourages reflection on time. Days pass quickly, youth fades, opportunities slip away, and suddenly years have gone by. Many regret wasted moments when it becomes too late to change them. The surah gently shakes us awake, reminding us that life is temporary and precious. Instead of postponing goodness, believers are urged to act now, apologize now, forgive now, give charity now, correct mistakes now, pray now. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. Another powerful transformation occurs when one realizes that provision company is from Allah alone. Many people exhaust themselves worrying about income, status, and future security. While effort is necessary, anxiety becomes overwhelming when trust is missing. The surah points to natural signs showing how Allah provides sustenance for all creatures. Birds leave their nests hungry and return full. Seeds buried in darkness grow into nourishment for countless beings. When we remember that Allah is the provider, fear about sustenance decreases and effort becomes balanced with reliance. The surah also encourages people to reflect on the temporary nature of worldly competition. People compete for possessions, recognition, and power, often damaging relationships in the process. But when death arrives, all titles and possessions remain behind. Only deeds accompany the soul. Understanding this reality softens rivalry and increases generosity. The believer becomes more interested in giving than taking, more focused on character than status. There is also a deep lesson about patience with people. Just as messengers face rejection, believers too encounter misunderstanding. Sometimes family members do not understand spiritual change. Friends may mock or distance themselves. Society may pressure individuals to compromise values. Yā-Sīn teaches perseverance without hostility. Guidance is offered with kindness, not force. Hearts change through wisdom and patience, not anger. Another beautiful reflection arises from the mention of natural cycles. Night follows day and day follows night without fail. Hardship too is followed by ease. No sorrow lasts forever. Even the longest night eventually gives way to dawn. When believers remember this, despair loses its grip. Every difficulty carries within it seeds of relief, even if relief comes in unexpected ways. The surah also nurtures humility. Humans often feel powerful when they achieve success, forgetting how fragile life truly is. A minor illness can weaken the strongest person. A small accident can change everything instantly. Recognizing human weakness brings humility and compassion toward others. Instead of looking down on those struggling, believers learn to help and uplift them. Yā-Sīn also teaches that faith is not merely ritual, but transformation of character. Prayer should lead to honesty, charity to generosity, fasting to patience, remembrance to peace. If worship does not improve behavior, reflection is needed. The heart of the Qur'an seeks to soften hearts so they become sources of mercy for others. Many people today struggle with identity and purpose. Surrounded by constant comparison, they feel inadequate or lost. Yet the Qur'an reminds every individual that they were created intentionally. Each person has unique value and purpose. No one is accidental. When believers recognize their worth comes from being servants of Allah, not from public approval. Confidence replaces insecurity. Another lesson drawn from reflection is accountability in private life. Modern life allows many actions to remain hidden from society, but nothing is hidden from Allah. This awareness builds integrity. A believer strives to maintain honesty even when no one is watching. True character appears in private moments, not public displays. Yā-Sīn also highlights divine mercy toward those who return after mistakes. Human beings fall repeatedly, yet Allah's forgiveness remains open. The key is sincerity. Regret followed by change transforms sins into lessons rather than permanent stains. No one should feel too ashamed to return to Allah. His mercy exceeds human imagination. There is also encouragement to maintain hope during collective challenges. Communities sometimes face hardship, conflict, or loss. Faith reminds believers that trials purify societies just as they purify individuals. Unity, compassion, and patience help communities recover and grow stronger. Reflection upon the surah also nurtures gratitude for guidance itself. Many people possess intelligence and resources but lack spiritual direction. Guidance is a priceless blessing. When a person appreciates faith, worship becomes joy rather than burden. Gratitude for guidance protects it from being lost. The imagery of resurrection within the surah also shifts perspective about justice. In this world, injustice sometimes appears to prevail. Wrongdoers escape consequences while innocent people suffer. But divine justice is certain. No injustice will remain unresolved. Knowing this brings comfort to oppressed hearts and reminds oppressors that accountability cannot be escaped. The believer also learns balance between fear and hope. Fear prevents wrongdoing, while hope encourages repentance and positive action. Excessive fear leads to despair, while excessive hope without effort leads to negligence. Yā-Sīn nurtures a balanced heart that strives sincerely while trusting Allah's mercy. Another profound change occurs when believers realize that wealth and status are tests, just as poverty and hardship are tests. Both situations require gratitude and patience. Some fail through abundance, others through difficulty. Success lies in remembering Allah in both ease and hardship. Reflection upon the surah also inspires service to humanity. Feeding the hungry, helping the needy, supporting the weak, and spreading kindness become expressions of faith. True spirituality is not isolation, but beneficial presence in society. And as the rhythm of these reminders continues to move through the heart, awakening awareness of mercy, accountability, gratitude, humility, patience, and trust, the believer finds renewed determination to live consciously, to choose goodness even when tempted otherwise, to remain hopeful even when circumstances appear dark, to seek forgiveness after every mistake, to show compassion to every soul encountered, and to walk forward each day with the certainty that the Creator who guides the universe also guides the hearts that sincerely seek Him, granting opportunities for renewal, growth, and closeness with every passing breath in the unfolding journey of life. And as this journey of awareness deepens, a person begins to understand that faith is not only about personal salvation, but also about becoming a source of light for others. When the heart is touched by divine reminders, it naturally wants to share goodness. A smile becomes charity, advice becomes compassion, and patience becomes strength for those around us. The believer realizes that even small acts can change someone's day and perhaps even their life. Many people underestimate the power of consistent small actions. They wait for big opportunities to do good, forgetting that daily kindness shapes character and community. A gentle word to someone struggling, a helping hand offered quietly, or a sincere prayer for someone unseen may carry immense weight with Allah. Yā-Sīn inspires believers to live consciously, recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to plant seeds of goodness that may grow long after we are gone. Another transformation occurs when fear of people is replaced by consciousness of Allah. Often, individuals compromise values to gain acceptance or avoid criticism. But when faith strengthens, pleasing Allah becomes more important than pleasing creation. This shift brings freedom. One no longer feels pressured to follow harmful trends or chase approval. Instead, choices become guided by principles and accountability before Allah. The surah also teaches patience with personal growth. Change does not happen overnight. Just as plants grow gradually, faith strengthens step by step. Some days feel spiritually uplifting, while others feel dry or difficult. The believer learns not to give up during low moments. Persistence in prayer, remembrance, and reflection slowly transforms the heart. Even when motivation feels weak, continuing acts of worship keeps the connection alive until strength returns. Yā-Sīn also reminds us to appreciate moments of ease. People often take comfort for granted until hardship arrives. Health, safety, and stable relationships are blessings we may overlook. Reflection teaches us to enjoy and appreciate peaceful times, using them to build resilience for future challenges. Gratitude during ease prepares the heart to remain patient during hardship. Another profound lesson concerns how we treat those who differ from us. The messengers faced rejection, yet they maintained dignity and compassion. This teaches believers to engage rs respectfully, even in disagreement. Harshness often pushes people further away, while wisdom and kindness open hearts. True strength lies in maintaining good character when provoked. There is also a reminder about self-accountability. It is easy to notice faults in others while ignoring our own, but faith calls us to examine ourselves first. Correcting personal shortcomings requires humility and courage. When individuals focus on self-improvement rather than judging others, communities become more harmonious and supportive. The surah also touches the heart of those who feel overwhelmed by guilt. Some carry regret over past mistakes so heavy that they feel unworthy of forgiveness. Yet Allah's mercy remains accessible to all who turn back sincerely. No matter how far someone has gone, returning with humility opens doors of forgiveness. Regret itself is a sign of living faith, and transformation begins with acknowledging wrong and choosing better paths. Another reflection emerges when we consider how quickly circumstances change. Wealth can disappear, health can weaken, and power can fade. Recognizing this reality prevents arrogance and encourages compassion. Those struggling today may rise tomorrow, and those comfortable today may face trials later. Treating everyone with respect and kindness becomes natural when we understand the temporary nature of worldly conditions. Yā-Sīn also strengthens courage in the face of uncertainty. Many fear change, yet growth often requires stepping into unfamiliar territory. Trusting Allah allows believers to move forward even without complete clarity. When intentions are sincere and effort is honest, Allah guides steps in ways we could not have planned ourselves. Another important lesson is about managing disappointment. Expectations from people often lead to pain because humans are imperfect, but reliance on Allah never disappoints. When people fail us, remembering that ultimate fulfillment comes from our relationship with Allah softens the hurt. We learn to forgive, move forward, and trust that Allah replaces losses with better outcomes. The surah also nurtures generosity of spirit. Giving does not only mean wealth, it includes time, patience, knowledge, and emotional support. Sometimes listening to someone in distress is greater charity than money. Believers become more attentive to others' needs, understanding that helping others invites divine assistance in their own lives. Reflection also reshapes our understanding of success. Society often measures success by achievements and possessions, yet faith measures success by sincerity, humility, and service. A simple life lived with honesty and kindness may be more valuable in Allah's sight than grand accomplishments filled with arrogance. Another transformation occurs when believers begin controlling their reactions rather than being controlled by emotions. Anger, jealousy, and pride weaken relationships and disturb inner peace. Remembering accountability encourages restraint. Responding calmly rather than reacting impulsively strengthens character and earns respect. Yā-Sīn also calls attention to the importance of remembrance. Hearts become restless when disconnected from Allah. Regular remembrance brings calmness even amid chaos. Simple phrases glorifying Allah, whispered throughout the day, gradually bring tranquility. When the heart remembers its creator, worldly worries shrink in comparison. There is also encouragement to maintain hope even when prayers seem unanswered. Sometimes Allah delays responses because better outcomes are prepared. What we ask for may not always benefit us immediately, while something greater awaits at the right time. Trusting divine timing prevents frustration and strengthens patience. Reflection upon the surah also motivates believers to leave behind positive legacies. Wealth and possessions remain after death, but good deeds continue benefiting a person through charity, knowledge shared, or righteous children raised. Thinking about legacy encourages purposeful living rather than aimless existence. Another lesson centers on unity within families and communities. Disputes often arise from pride or misunderstanding. Faith encourages reconciliation and forgiveness. Repairing relationships brings peace not only in society, but also within the heart. Holding grudges burdens the soul, while forgiveness frees it. The surah also reminds believers to balance worldly responsibilities with spiritual growth. Islam does not demand abandoning worldly pursuits, but encourages moderation. Work, family life, and worship should coexist harmoniously. When balance exists, neither material needs nor spiritual needs are neglected. As these reflections continue shaping the believer's outlook, life becomes less about chasing temporary satisfaction and more about nurturing lasting fulfillment. Actions become intentional, words become thoughtful, and relationships become compassionate. The heart learns to remain steady amid changing circumstances, drawing strength from remembrance, gratitude, patience, and trust, continuously seeking improvement while recognizing human weakness, and moving forward with renewed awareness that every moment offers another chance to grow closer to the one who guides hearts, forgives shortcomings, and opens paths of goodness for those who sincerely strive toward Him in every step they take through the unfolding journey of existence.